One does not think of finance as having a geography, and yet it does. It has its cities, its quarters, and its narrow, winding streets where the sun never quite reaches the ground. Galata, that Genoese outpost on the northern shore of the Golden Horn, is such a place. It rises above the waters like a fortress, its towers and its ramparts still bearing the faded emblems of the merchant republics that once ruled the waves. Today, the bankers are gone, or rather, they have been subsumed into the anonymous fabric of the modern city, their palazzos converted into hotels, their counting houses into souvenir shops. But the memory of them lingers, a faint metallic taste in the air, like the residue of a coin that has passed through too many hands. One imagines Abraham Salomon Camondo, the so-called Rothschild of the East, in his mansion on the Grande Rue de Péra. His portrait, which one may still see in the museums of Istanbul, shows a man of considerable gravity, with dark, watchful eyes and a beard that descends in careful, patriarchal waves. He sits among the mahogany and the ormolu, his fingers resting on a ledger, his gaze fixed on some point beyond the frame of the canvas. He is a man who deals in promises, in futures, in the ghostly substance of credit. He lends money to sultans and viziers, to the vast, crumbling edifice of the Ottoman state, and in return, he receives bonds, concessions, the right to levy taxes upon the subjects of the empire. It is a transaction of extraordinary audacity and also of extraordinary risk. For what is a state loan if not a wager on the survival of the state itself? And what is the survival of the state if not a question of time? Of how much time remains before the inevitable collapse, the default, the revolution, the war that sweeps away all debts and all creditors. Camondo is a Jew, and his religion, like his profession, places him in a position of peculiar vulnerability. He is the subject of the sultan, but he is also subject of the European powers, a citizen of the Republic of Finance, which has no borders and no armies, but which exerts a power more subtle and more enduring than any flag. His co-religionists in the banking houses of Paris, of London, of Frankfurt, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Bischofsheims, trust him to manage their interests in the East, to navigate the treacherous currents of Ottoman policy, and secure the repayment of the loans that keep the empire afloat. He is an intermediary, a translator. He's a man who speaks the language of the Sublime Porte and the language of the Bursa with equal fluency. He moves between worlds, and in moving, he becomes a world unto himself, a man who belongs nowhere and everywhere, a man whose loyalty is to the interest rate, to the coupon, to the quarterly dividend. The Imperial Ottoman Bank, founded in 1856, is the monument to this moment, the great granite edifice that rises from the Galata waterfront like a temple to a new god. It is a British bank, a French bank, a bank of the Rothschilds, and yet it is also an Ottoman bank, chartered by the Sultan, empowered to issue the currency of the realm. Its shares are traded in London and Paris, its directors are European, its clerks are Greeks, Armenians, Jews, the usual subjects of the cosmopolitan empire. It is a hybrid, a chimera, a creature of the liminal spaces. One imagines the clerks in their high collars, their ledgers open before them, the ink drying on the pages, as they record the ebb and flow of capital, the movement of funds from the west to the east, from the industrializing nations to the agrarian hinterland. It is a dance of numbers, a sort of ballet of debits and credits, and it is as abstract and as ruthless as any ballet can be. And then there is the land of Palestine, that narrow strip of territory between the sea and the desert, between the memory of the ancient kingdoms and the promise of the modern nation. Baron Edmund James de Rothschild, the so-called unsung architect, purchases acres and acres of it. 125,000 acres, it is said, from the Ottoman authorities, and from the wealthy landowners, and from the effendis who hold their deeds in the fading ink of the imperial registers. He is a philanthropist, he tells himself, a man of conscience, a Jew who wishes to alleviate the suffering of his co-religionists in the shtetls of Russia and Poland. He establishes colonies, Rishon LeZion, Zichron Yaakov, and he sends his administrators and agronomists, his inspectors, to oversee the planting of vineyards and the digging of wells. Eli Scheid is one such administrator. He travels between Paris and the Levant, his leather briefcase stuffed with reports and maps, with a carefully itemized account of the baron's expenditures. He petitions the Ottoman authorities in Jerusalem, in Beirut, in Istanbul, seeking permits, resolving disputes, and smoothing the path of settlement. He is a man of the borderlands, a Jew who speaks Arabic and Turkish, who understands the protocols of the Divan and the subtleties of the Firman. He is the baron's eyes and ears, his hand in the Levant, his emissary to a world that is both familiar and alien. One imagines him in his hotel room in the Christian quarter of Jerusalem, the evening light falling through the latticed windows as he writes his letters to Paris, detailing the progress of the colonies, the harvests, the conflicts with the local fellahin, the slow, patient transformation of the landscape. And what is this transformation, if not a kind of haunting? The vineyards and the orange groves that rise from the rocky soil, the stoned houses that cluster around the new synagogues, the roads that are cut through the hills. These are not merely improvements on the land, not merely the fruits of human labor. They are the traces of a future that has not yet arrived, the premonition of a nation that is still a dream, a shadow, a glimmer in the minds of the visionaries. The land is purchased, is titled, is transferred from one set of hands to another. The deeds are registered and the boundaries are surveyed. The legal fictions are all constructed, and all of it is financed by the capital of the Rothschilds, mediated by the Galata bankers, administered by the Scheids and the Camondos. It is a grand project, a project of history, a project that will outlive its architects and its administrators and its financiers, a project that will take on a life of its own, a life that none of them could have fully anticipated. One thinks of the long arc of these transactions, from the counting houses of Galata to the vineyards of Rishon LeZion, from the ledges of Camondo to the letters of Scheid. It is a thread, a thin, fragile thread of paper and ink and credit that passes through the hands of men and women who are themselves passing into oblivion. The sultans and the viziers are gone, the bankers are gone, their palaces in ruins, their names erased from the memory of the city. And yet the thread remains, woven into the fabric of the landscape, and into the policies of nations, into the conflicts of the present. It is a thread that binds the past to the future, a thread that is both a lifeline and a chain. The historian, in his archive, turns the pages of the old ledgers. The ink is brown and the paper is brittle. The handwriting is a cramped, elegant cursive. He reads the names, Camondo, Rothschild, Scheid, and he sees them as they were, men of flesh and blood, men of ambition and anxiety, men who moved money and land and power across the face of the earth. And he wonders what they would have thought, these men, if they could have seen the world they were helping to make. Would they have recognized it? Would they have claimed it? Or would they have been as baffled and as alienated as we are? We who walk through the ruins of their world and try to piece together the fragments of that story. The question hangs in the air, unanswered like the faint, persistent smell of charcoal in the streets of Galata, a smell that lingers long after the fires have been extinguished and the bankers have gone home.